This video is going to show you a solo GM with a unique Stasis Behemoth melee Howl of the Storm spam build with Frost Armor. This build was submitted to me via my Discord, so if you want your build to be showcased in a video, then submit your dim link in either my YouTube comments or Discord and give me a brief explanation of what you're getting at by submitting it. I'm looking for unique and interesting things. This build in particular is very interesting and I've never played it like this until today after this build submission. It is inside Terminus. The mods are basic information, Void Surge, Strand Surge, Void Fret, Champions of Barrier and Unstoppable. There is no Stasis Surge. Imagine if there was and I got the buff. There isn't, but so what, we can still cook with this build. As I've said, this is a Howl of the Storm Stasis melee spam build. It's a melee based build and it's very interesting, very unique. Follow the process. I'll go through it. Part 1 of the video is this, the build, going in depth into it. Part 2 of the video is the demonstration of that. ACD feedback fence is the featured exotic. Fury conductors melee hits grant armor charge and you take less melee damage while you have armor charge. Taken melee damage causes you to emit a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets, consuming your armor charges and dealing more damage based on the number of stacks consumed. A very complicated exotic, but a very good one. It's really good, this, honestly. So the idea of this is to pair that with a Strand Behemoth Howl of the Storm. So let's go through it. Glacial Quake, of course. Rally Barricade, Shiver strikes the melee. Glacier Grenade goes on for this because I want more shatter damage. Because we are incorporating a lot of shatter damage to give myself a lot of, what are they called? Let's see. A lot of stasis shards to get frost armor and melee energy. So aspects are Tectonic Harvest to shatter damage, to pick up stasis shards. That's what that's for. And it gives frost armor, look. So you get your frost armor and your stasis shards from there. Number 2, Howl of the Storm. That's what the build's based upon. And you slide like a Consecration Slam. It's the same thing as that. You slide and then you do your melee. So we're not really going to use much Shiver Strike. It's more the Howl of the Storm. The fragments are very important in this, and I have swapped things around regarding the original dim link, but you do that. He gave me the base build, the dude gave me the base build, and then I built up from there on what I think that we can add for this. Fragments are Whisper of Hunger, so you get a stasis shard, you get increased melee energy from a stasis shard. Whisper of Chains, so that when we're defeating targets when we have frost armor, we also create more stasis shards. Whisper of Rhyme, your frost armor is increased and has max duration, stack count. And Whisper of Fissures, I added this one personally because I feel as though this adds to the build. You're doing so much shatter damage. Whisper of Fissures goes on, in my opinion, for that. So you can see the playback loop is that you use Howl of the Storm, you do shatter damage, you then get shards with Tectonic Harvest to then get melee energy, to then repeat the process and then get frost armor and all this stuff going on. It's a very interesting build, and it just goes that step layer further with the ACD feedback fence. Let's talk mods because it's very important in this case. You want a couple of melee kickstarts because they do stack. You want it charged up at least 1 minimum. You can go all the way to 3. The reason why I didn't put 3 stacks on, which you can, is because that means there's no resistance mods on. There is frost armor, and I get frost armor damage resist, but I feel as though adding a couple of more resistance mods helps the build rather than take away from it. And I found that I didn't need 3 charged ups, I only needed 1 minimum. That just gives us 1 more armor charge, right? Because feedback fence is going to give you those armor charges, so we're increasing this armor charge stacks by getting our melee energy back with melee kickstarts and a charged up and stacks on stacks. I'll go to the other screen. And stacks on stacks. So for every charge we get another 1. So every time we get a charge, we get two stacks. Pairing that and going a step further, we run double powerful attraction so that the meterage is higher, or a higher radius, a larger radius. When we pop a barricade, we're going to pick up all the orbs I've made, and that is going to give me frost armor and a whole host of different other things. with my invigoration. Yeah, so I've got invigoration on to pick up all those orbs and get more melee energy, so that's countering with the build. Proc Ward goes on because it's a powerful overshield when you finish a champ. That's fantastic for GMs. So yeah, this is all working together, but you just need to trust the process, and it really does work together. Now we take it a step further than all of that by pairing it with Salvation's Grip, because Salvation's Grip is going to make us a Glacier Grenade, basically, on the floor. When you detonate that, you're going to get Rhyme Stiller to proc, which therefore is Frost Armor, and it's going to do the shatter damage, right? And you're just basically going to be shattering, meleeing, shattering, meleeing. Pairing that with Velocity per ton to add to the amount of orbs that we can make, we can really build. This is a build crafter's build, this. This is a Stasis build crafter's build to its maximum. It's layered, it really is. But you know, there's build crafters in the game that are eccentric about builds, right? Well, here's one for you, and it's really good. And then to top it all off, Buzzard, it's an unbelievable weapon. If you have not got Buzzard with Kinetic Tremors, go and focus it Zavala now. It's literally an amazing weapon. I know we've all been using Tinas this season, but honestly, Buzzard is fantastic in this. It really is. Against barrier champs, against red bars, it's so good. There's not a lot of artifact mods that boost stasis. Remember that. There's not a lot going on with it. The only things that are good for this are as follows. Limit Break will give me a damage buff to Glacial Quake when I have Frost Armor, a 30% buff. Defib Blast will help stunning champs. Flashover will go with Defib Blast. What else works? Dreadful Finisher works. You know, but other things don't really. There's no stasis stuff, okay? We are, make no mistake, we're in a Void and Strand setup, build-wise, artifact-wise, this season. No stasis stuff. We had stasis stuff last season. So I can't really take much advantage of the artifact mods. I hope you understand. But what I will say is Limit Break is a nice additive to the setup. Okay, so the tonic that I've got on, Potent Tonic of Brawling. Now, it doesn't work with curative orbs, but the statement that says reduces incoming damage from combatants that are at point blank range, I believe, I haven't looked into this, but I believe it just gives you melee resist, because it's got the same description as melee damage resist. Look, it's got the exact same thing. So I think this is giving me melee resist for free, right? That's giving me more damage resist on top of ACD feedback fence, on top of concussive dampener, on top of Frost Armor. So we are adding quite a couple of layers of different damage resist to allow to play for aggressive play on a class that does not have, may I remind you, Restoration, it doesn't have Devour, it doesn't have Amplified. I mean, it does kind of have Amplified, but that's indirectly buffed from champs. But yeah, that's the build with ACD feedback fence on with the run. Okay, so here is that Stasis melee spam build. Let's evaluate the build. Let's be fair with it. Let's see how it performed under pressure, under aggressive gameplay. I stress tested the build. I played rather aggressive with this setup. I did do that to my best of my ability. So the first couple of champs, I'm not going to skip them. You can skip them. I'm not going to, because I want to test the build and what it's like on champs, adds, survivability, all that stuff. This champ always teleports. I'm sure we know that. He's teleported. That's fine. We'll just deal with him in the next room. I've got Frost Armor every time I destroy a Stasis Crystal, whether that be from Salvation's Grip, my grenade, or Howl of the Storm. I'm getting many different types of glaciers in this setup. First champ I deal with a glacier, with some baton damage. Then we go in with the massive damage Howl of the Storm, in combination with jolting that champ as well. We get the finisher to recuperate, especially if we need it, but I just finish him anyways. Okay, now we start dealing with the second champ. There's a Hypernova Bane. I'm going to do this on purpose. So I'm going to finish this champ as the Hypernova detonates. If you are framed, tight with your gameplay, as you finish another ad, you can cancel a Hypernova's blast. Did people know that? I've known that for ages. I think I haven't pointed it out to people. Yeah, you can do that. With the gameplay you just saw, it works. Then I'll go for the next champ. We're just playing aggressive, keep using my Howl of the Storm. So look at how many melees I'm getting in this. I want some keen-eyed viewer to say down below how many Howl of the Storms did I use in this run total. Can somebody count them up? I bet none of you can count how many I used. If somebody can count it, I'll be shocked. Let's see if somebody can count how many melees I used. including all melees, even from my super, because you can spam Howl of the Storm in your actual super as well. You'll see me do that. I'm going to use a super here to not... We're not skipping this champ. I'm just doing some advanced techniques to go past him. To kill all these ads in this tunnel, then I'll go back up top. I get a double damage bonus. That's good. So we'll use that. I'll put some baton damage plus the double damage bonus there with Defib Blast. Look at the amount of damage we do there. We clean him up with the melee. Howl the Storm. I've got half melee energy back and I've just used it. And I've got armor charges left hand side. Check in this run the amount of armor charges I'm getting, remember, with ACD feedback. But the ACD feedback, right, and Baton have good synergy because Baton's going to keep making me orbs, therefore getting armor charges. When I pop a barricade with powerful attraction, I will get tons of armor charges. I'll pick them up automatic. That's the idea of this run. You can really build craft. Oh, we are blocking these ads on purpose with Salvation's Grip. Then I'll detonate damage. Look at the amount of damage we're doing. Remember, champs are about to come in. These gladiators didn't die. That's fine. They will now, though. Clean them up with the sidearm. So let's see this damage. So we're going to pre-detonate the champs. I won't stun them till I'm ready. Okay, I'll use all my damage. I'll go in with my Howl of the Storm in combination with Baton and a bit of kinetic tremors. And look, both champs are finishable. So the choice behind each weapon is actually rather important for this. Because you've got all the shatter damage in the world, right? You've got Salvation's Grip, Howl of the Storm, Glacier Grenade. But you need to shatter that damage with a weapon. Baton is perfect for this. Being able to shatter damage, but also a kinetic tremors is perfect for it. A CQC one. And in that case, we've got one. Buzzard. Buzzard is a very good CQC kinetic tremor weapon. You can play very aggressive with this gun and perform really well. It depends on how good you are with the weapon, I will say that. But if you're used to sidearm stroke SMG gameplay in GMs, you'll perform very well with Buzzard. For non-sidearm primary users, you're going to struggle with it. You may struggle. To those users, I would recommend that you go and focus a Buzzard roll at Zavala and then play around with it. It might take you a bit to get used to playing up so close. Buzzard complements melee builds best, in my opinion, when you're playing up really close. I'm going to set the boss off, and this spawns the Unstoppable in. Yeah, so I'm using an advanced technique. This spawns in more ads. We're fighting from here, which I'm going to now pop my super. What I'm doing is I'm getting all the ads to round up into my super. I'm not concerned with killing all of the ads. Sorry, I'm not concerned with killing both champs. More so the ads, although I did kill that unstop. I didn't get to finish off the barrier champ, but that's fine. Look at what the super's done for me. It's cleared out the unstop and the entire room. That's really good. Now I can actually start farming super off this second barrier. Sorry, off this first barrier, look. Massive control with this build. That's what I was noticing. And the jolt on champs is really nice. And I feel really tanky because of everything that I mentioned at the start of the video. Frost armor, bottle pop that gives you melee resist for free, I believe. What else have we got? Concussive dampener. You know, just adding to the build. Frost armor. The uptime on frost armor on this build, you can get it for free even when you're out of combat. If you just want to use Salvation's Grip with one shot to get frost armor, that's OP. You can start an engagement with frost armor by just simply using Salvation's Grip, one shot, and then running in. Salvation's Grip adds to the build, and it's really good. It is. On this build. I know that Salvation's Grip has had a lot of hate, and it has been poor. But when they buffed it, it did get good. It was last season they buffed it. I was meant to have my Salvation's Grip equipped there. That was a misfire. Look at the instant stun. The control of this build. Really good. I like to do the Howl of the Storm melee after first shield break. That's generally how I like to do it. My damage wasn't quite there that time for some reason. That's alright though. Fine, get the finisher kill on the champ. Full on ammo notice, so I'm full on baton. That's because of Dreadful Finisher. That allows me to spam GL so much more. I'll talk about baton in a minute when there's less downtime, because there's something I've got to say about baton. Right, so I'm going to push up here, use a Salvation's Grip, and then my goal is to take the barrier, not the unstop. The barrier is the goal, not the unstop, because the unstop will spawn barriers behind me. I don't want to do that. Look at what we're doing here with the super, though. My goal is to do chip damage, break the shield on the first barrier, then super the barrier. Yeah? And now we're just getting back here. This is a great place to stand after I've done the stasis madness that I've just did. And I want to take care of these snipers because I know that they spawn here. Look at the stasis shards were acting as a secondary armor for my character. That's how crazy it is. Yeah, just really good. They're tracking my collections, my location, so I'm able to just have a good uptime of frost armor all the time. Look at this movement. We get pushed by this unstop, but I'm confident enough. That was composure there. It's very hard for me to explain what composure means in Destiny 2, but that was a prime example of it. Composure is where something really happens out of your favour, not to your fault, and you still come through it without being too stressed. And I wasn't too stressed because I was like, oh, I heard the audio cue of the unstop, and I knew I'd get booped, but I had my buzzard, ADS'd, reloaded, ready to take down the shield. Now I bring the orb to this location to spawn kill the barrier, but look, we get unlucky. That was actually my fault, not the game really. The hit detection sometimes on the melee can be awkward, but that I blame myself there on that bit. But that's alright, because, you know, we can quickly kill this barrier anyways. Look, I'm going to melt him in less than a few seconds. So I've always got a plan B for something. If something doesn't work, right, next position, where can we stand? Always think of that. You can also use Salvation's Grip as more of a pseudo-heavy drum GL sometimes, especially when that target's frozen. So there's a lot of utility with Salvations, and honestly, this build's a lot of fun, it really is. Because there is some Stasis Behemoth Titans still out there, loyal ones, who are desperate to play a Stasis build. This has been requested for me for ages. And I have done plenty of Stasis runs, Behemoth runs over the years, but when I get new subscribers, they don't know what I've done in the past. Yeah, so I'm constantly in this forever world of trying to tell people, oh no, the build you're telling me about, I've already done it. I've already done it. I've already done this. I've already done that. I have done plenty of Stasis Behemoth builds in the past, but never an ACDC one. I've never done this build. This is completely new to me, this one. But yeah, I have done plenty of Behemoth builds. So this is not just a Titan thing with me. It's a Hunter and a Warlock thing as well. There's loads and loads of things I've done. Like the other week there, I posted Lucky Pants. Some guy thought that was the first time I was ever using Lucky Pants. I've soloed GMs with Lucky Pants 4 years ago. Let's be straight. So to newcomers, I really welcome you, and I think it's nice that you're joining the channel and stuff. But can you please remember that I've been at this for a lot of time now, since the game launched 2017. I'm no rookie. I didn't just start net last week. I know about Lucky Pants. I know about the meta builds. I know about Gifted Conviction. I know about, you know, all the meta stuff. I know Consecration. I know Rhyme Coat Rhymant. I know Getaway Artist. Do you want me to keep going on and on and on? I don't want to, because it'll take over the video. I know the meta. But I like the fine line between meta and off meta, and I operate between that area because I want to have self-discovery of finding stuff out that might be better than we think. And this build is much better than what I thought. When I first tried it, I was like, nah, I'm not feeling it. But there's a bit of a skill gap to this build. There's no Devour, no Restoration. You've got to think about it. But once you overcome that, it starts to click with you. It might not click within the 30 minutes of gameplay. It might take you an hour or 2 hours, but once you get to that and fine-tune the build, maybe use it with this weapon, maybe use it with that weapon. Once you start doing all that stuff, it starts to then come to a complete picture for you, and that's how we build craft in D2, essentially. That's how we micromanage all these builds that are not within the shine and light, like Consecrations in the shine and light, Gifted Convictions in the shine and light, Inmost Light Cryo, Hunter, Warlock, Getaway Eyes, Rhyme Coats, and so on and so forth. We know that stuff. That is standard stuff. That's all standard stuff. What about that other stuff that's unknown in the desert area? What about that stuff? Yeah? And also it makes it way more entertaining for a video. Generally speaking, look at the amount of crystals we're generating here. I'm going to use a super right off the rip. Look at the amount of damage we're doing with this. It's really good. I should be standing a little bit further back, but it's not too bad. I'm getting my shatter damage, so I'm doing pretty good there. That's nice. Actually, more than good. That's half damage. That's actually more than a Chaos Reach. That's actually nearly more than a Chaos Reach Geomag Stabilizers. I know because I've done a Geomag Stabilizers run on this exact GM. That's crazy damage, actually. That's no Symphos damage, by the way. That's just your Stasis chunk with Whisper of Fishes. That's good. Okay, so now we're in that sort of part of the run where I want to super the boss, but I don't want to super the boss. I've got a double damage bonus. The reason being is because I want to super for the plate cap. And I'm evaluating right now on the boss's HP. He has what? 15% left to go. Is it worth now for me to pop a super because I'm about to get it? The answer is it's not worth your time to now pop a super, right? You've seen the amount of damage it does. So why would you then go and pop a super? Look at this knockback. No one talks about the knockback from primary sidearms this season. There's something going on with primary sidearms and Pearson sidearms. They have a knockback high caliber rounds effect on them. Did you see it? I knocked that Hypernova back so that he could detonate and I'm out of his bubble because I couldn't be bothered dealing with him. So I just knocked him back with the sidearm and then just stood out of his bubble and that set him off and that dealt with him. That's exactly what I was thinking at the time. I was like, oh, look at that knockback damage. It was a couple of seasons ago, but primary primary SMGs had the same trait. If you get primary SMG, they have this knockback effect, like high caliber rounds, where they just knock the ads all the way back. It's definitely Peace and Sidearm that's doing it, by the way. It is. It's absolute. We've seen it in previous seasons. Just no one's talking about it because everyone's using Tinas, which is a damn shame that everybody's using Tinas because there's some golden primary sidearms in the game. This isn't the only one, but this is your main GM sidearm for sure. It's unbelievably good. Good in dungeon gameplay as well. It's very good in dungeon gameplay because you play up close. You sometimes play up close more frequent in dungeon gameplay as opposed to GM gameplay. Depends who you are though, but that does happen for general people. I'm just doing damage to the boss here with my barricade. Look at the amount of damage that my barricade's soaking up there. Even though we're not on a bolt charge Titan, rally barricade is so useful across all Titan subclasses now because of the damage it soaks up and the aggro that it takes. So you should always be using rally barricade for stuff. I mean, Thruster, you still sometimes want to use Thruster, yeah. But honestly, the gains to rally barricade nowadays are just too strong to not use rally barricade. I know Thruster's not on Stasis, but I'm just doing a quick comparison there. Alright, so I'm going to use Salvation Script to cap these plates. Look at the amount of Stasis crystals that I'm generating on the map. These ads have no chance. I was going to pop super, but I was like, why do I need to pop super? I've already capped the plate. So look, cap the plate, very easy with Salvation Script that way. It is good for capping plates for sure. And locking down zones. That's exactly what the exotic is. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill the remaining gladiators from the prior phase. This is a top tip for capping plates. Depending on what subclass you're on, it doesn't matter. But for every time you cap a plate, you get the gladiators and dogs. Every time you step on, in fact. So what you can do is kill the gladiators and the dogs, then step on your plate. You'll get more capture point time. Do you understand it? So look, I'm clearing up. I'm doing prep work for the next cap zone. So look, middle is sorted. There's no dogs. There's legendaries. Don't kill the legendaries because that just spawns more of them. You'll keep the legendaries up in middle. And what you can do is the ad manipulation technique. This goes back all the way back to 2019, 2020 times, and I still use that strat 5 years on, depending on what I'm doing. And right now it's beneficial to do it because look at the extra cap point time I get. Look at where the ads are. We do get the spawn though that happens premature, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. As soon as I see the gladiators coming out, yeah, I'll just pop super then. But Behemoth is better at that 15-20 meter radius, yeah. So the further the crystals go, the better it works, Behemoth. That's true for damage and against ad clear blocking. which is exactly what I'm doing here. Look, so it's blocking those ads, enough time to cap the plate, and that worked out really well. Now I just need to get rid of the gladiators again, so we're back to gladiator dog phase. You can pick up these tips for any build that you're using this week for insight. This is a tip for any solo at all. Some other builds don't need to do this, like you saw earlier on in the week. But like I say, it's just a little tip for you to make it easier for capturing the points. Okay, now I'm just looking to get some of those orbs. And I'm going to cap plate now. So like I say, I'm ready for that now. There's not many ads in middle, so it's prime time to get on. I will pop super if I need to, if I feel... Because if the ads jump over my crystals, it could be a bit of a problem. And I think that ends up happening. Let's see how it turns out. So ads are starting to jump on the plate. I have no frost armor, so I was like, yeah, let's pop now. Because the ads are starting to be... go against the capture of the point a little bit. Because I can get plenty of supers. It makes no odds too much. Yeah, cap the plate, no problem. And now what I want to do is clean up some of these gladiators and generate a lot of super energy. I can spam my Howl of the Storm stuff. Just make sure you keep shattering your crystals. Oh, I haven't talked about velocity baton. So a lot of you are asking about the velocity baton replacement. There isn't one, I've checked. I've checked D2 Foundry. There is not one single weapon that will replace Velocity Baton in the energy slot. However, there is one in the kinetic slot, and that is Lost Signal. That is the only replacement for you, I'm sorry. So for people who are still lacking a Velocity Baton, please go and get one. It's dead important to the game. I don't see them nerfing Aerodynal GLs either. There's no word of them doing it. I doubt that they're going to do it. They want people to play, and they know Velocity Baton and Aerodynal GL, Psycho Pump. Oh, there's Psycho Pump as well. Psycho Pump doesn't have attrition orbs, though. That's the issue. So, yeah, so Psycho Pump is kind of your replacement, but remember, it hasn't got attrition orbs, so you need to look accordingly at your Psycho Pump rolls. I actually almost nearly forgot about the weapon, but it is a very good weapon. It's not quite as good as Baton, because Baton has the God roll with the attrition orbs demo. But Psycho Pump, there's a lot to be said about that weapon, so if you want to do like a Roll and Thunder style one, you can. Lost Signal as well, but you need to adjust your exotic usages depending on what you use, and you can't just say, well, what's the replacement? Well, yeah, you need a replacement, but then you also need a replacement exotic, and then buildcraft that way. You need to start buildcrafting. Yeah, you can't just, crutch on one thing. You don't have to use Salvation's Grip with this build. We could use other things. There's other things that you could definitely use. But Salvation's Grip definitely does add to the build, I can tell you that much. Because we're just getting more Stasis Crystals as a result, which therefore means more Frost Armor, more melee energy, more Stasis energy, and it's just this Stasis feedback fence loop. That's exactly what it is. I've got another super, let's use it. Let's see what happens. I don't know where the boss ends up going. I've got a double damage bonus, and I'm not sure where the boss is. Hey, he's pulled a fast one, he's behind me. So I'm like, where's the boss? And I was like, oh, he's behind me. He jumped over my head. I had a double damage bonus as well. I could have cleaned the run up there and then. That was dead unfortunate. But I'm not going to redo the run because of it. That's fine. Look at the super engine we're getting back though. Look at this. With the Stasis Chunk and Salvation's Grip. So I'm able to I've just used my super and I'm getting it back on a build like this is dead important. Look at this barricade. We pick up all the orbs because of Powerful Attraction. Look at how good Powerful Attraction is with this build. I love this mod with certain builds, especially with Baton. But anyways, that was a solo GM on this with a Stasis melee spam build. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.